Hey everybody, it's Paul with CDA Software. We're going to go ahead and get started today with our second video for mobile parts receiving. And so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to show you best practices that you can do in the front office so it makes it a lot smoother for your technician to do mobile parts receiving. So again, these are going to be what are called best practices. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into it. And in this video, we're going to start from the very basics. So we're going to start from the beginning, and then we're going to order the part, add it to a PO, and we're going to go through all the steps that it takes before the tech actually receives his carrier package and is prompted to do mobile parts receiving. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and move over my Android phone, and what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly order a part to get the beginning of the process started. So what we're going to do is we'll do this rather quickly because we all know how to do this. Is we're just going to click on a claim. We're going to click on that parts area right there where it says parts, and then what we're going to do right up here, it says add a part. So we're going to add a part, and then what we're going to do is we're quickly just going to paste in a part number. We're going to make this happen quickly. So we're going to hit paste. And what it says is, hey, that's the part number I want. And the system says, hey, what do you want to do? And we're going to say, I want to order a part. So we're going to click, yes, order a part. And so what that does is that part is going to go to the parts dashboard, which we'll show you in a second. And we're just going to go ahead and give it a description for video demo purposes only. And so we're just going to call this a bellow. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click save. And so what that did now, we're all familiar with it, is this is how you order a part in mobile. This part has now been assigned to this claim. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move the Android phone to the side, and I'm going to click on this button right here, which is the parts request dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. Now that we have the parts dashboard open, let's go ahead and take a look at a few things you need to be aware of. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look over here where it says vendor code. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and right click, and I'm going to say add vendor. So I'm going to say add vendor. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to use American Home Shield to keep it simple for us. And now we've added the vendor. Now what do I want to do is I just want to pause real quick and give you some pretty good information that you should know about. Where you can see that I'm manually adding the vendor, we do have a way to where if this window was full of, let's just say 200 parts, and it needed to go to various technicians and you wanted to get it all done in one fell swoop, as they say. So you want to order 200 parts all at the same time, and you want POs generated and you want the parts that ship to the technician. Pretty much you want to automate everything with one click. With CDA software, you can do that. That is supported by two vendors. Those vendors are Reliable Parts and Encompass. So if you'd like to know more information about that, please feel free to reach out to us. So now let's go ahead and continue with the demo. So what we did is we added the vendor code, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to come right down here and we're simply going to say order now. And it says, you sure? I'm going to say I'm sure. And there we go. And notice it disappeared really quickly, but that's okay. So what happened real quickly was that you were able to see that it added an X and it added our PO number. So what I did is I just filtered this out. We're now in processed. And this is just so that we can see it a little bit cleaner. We do have videos on YouTube that explain how the parts dashboard works. So those that you are familiar with it will know that you can find what after you process an order, it goes into the processed dialog box, and then you can see your information. Okay, so here we are. We're in the next step where it says it's processed, and you'll notice we added a vendor code. We then right clicked and say order now, and then what it did is the system automatically said, hey, it's ordered, and then what it did is it said, hey, you've been assigned a PO. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to close this PO. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click here again, and I'm going to go ahead and click Display Purchase Orders. The purchase order window pops up. And the first thing I want to show you is when you're in this purchase order is what we care about is, hey, this PO is not closed. So we need to close this PO first. So let's go ahead and say close purchase order. It says, are you sure? We're going to say yes. And now what you'll notice is it says it has a date ordered. So that's the first part. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go to the website, to the vendor website, and we're going to go ahead and order the part. And then once again, as I mentioned earlier, if you had an account with Reliable or Encompass, all of this could have been automated for you. So I just want to bring that out as well. And now that we've went ahead and we've closed the PO, we've ordered the part, now we're just going to be in our demo. We're going to imagine that a few days have passed and we know that the part has shipped, and so we now need to receive it. And so we have this invoice right here. We can now receive the part in. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that does and the important information you need to know about. So what we're going to do, notice how it says date received is missing. So we're just going to go down here and we're going to say, hey, we want to receive the part. So we're going to click in here and we're just going to fill in some important information. We're going to say, hey, what's the invoice number? Well, the invoice number was this. We're going to enter that. We're going to say, hey, what's the invoice date? Well, it was today. And here's something that's very, very important. What is that carrier tracking information? We absolutely need to make sure that we fill that in. Another important piece is going to be, hey, what's that cost? So we're going to fill that in. And we're going to look around, see if there's anything else that may be important. For perhaps it has a core, perhaps you want to put it in a special location. But it looks like we've filled out all the important information and there is no replacement, so we won't fill that. And we're just going to go ahead and say continue. And so now you'll note what we have is we have the date has been received. And now that we've completed that last step where we did parts receiving and entered in all the pertinent information, we've now completed all the tasks that we needed to perform so that when the technician receives his part, he'll have very few steps to complete to do mobile parts receiving. So that will conclude today's video.